This is another review of the Yamaha Revstar, the RSS02T, the standard. For those of you finding this review because you're searching for reviews on this guitar, this is not a guitar review channel. No paid reviews, no paid sponsorships. I restore, repair, and modify and design guitar amplifiers. But occasionally buddies will bring in a guitar for me to do a little sweet work on, and a client brought in this Revstar for me to do a little bit tweaking. So I thought I'd give it a review before we make any changes. I get discouraged when all the guitar channels out there get the same product on the same day and they all have glowing reviews. All of them always great, and you never know if you can trust those reviews. Well, let's cut to the chase. It's actually a really amazingly good guitar for the price. Like I mentioned, it has stainless steel frets and they're very well done. It has carbon reinforcement in the neck. It's very stable. The entire thing is fit. The fit and finish is fantastic. I should have worked a few more Fs in there. The fret job is very, very nice. The frets are polished, they're level, the ends are clean. The nut slots are cut really well, neither too high nor too low. No real extra height at the first fret. The gap is just about perfect. Could be tweaked a little bit, but for a production guitar, this is really, really good. The tuners in a lot of guitars, I'm looking at you, Gibson USA, are kind of crappy across the board. The tuners in this guitar are actually quite nice. They feel a lot like Grovers or Schallers, as opposed to Pings. One little weakness of the guitar, as it came in, the neck pickup was too high and the bridge pickup was too low. And given the amount of foam beneath the stock pickup, you could not really raise the bridge pickup enough. I put a little bit of foam material under there just to raise it up. As you can see here, it helped, but it's not quite enough. It's still a little bit wobbly. Lowering the neck pickup was no problem. So I've got some denser foam ordered from StewMac that'll go in this guitar when I make further changes, but that's just something to be aware of to get the pickups to balance out well. The tailpiece on the P90 model is really nice. It's adjustable. You can see the springs here. So you can really adjust the downward tension and the height. So you can really control the behind the saddle string angle and tension. That's a nice little touch. And it's pretty. One oddity is that on the push-pull tone pot here, they use a set screw knob. But a set screw knob with a split shaft knurled pot can compress the knurled split shaft and damage that. Here on the volume pot, it's just a press-on knob, which is a good choice for a split shaft knurled pot, though the pots in there are just little 16mm alphas, nothing to write home about. They work and they sound okay. Inside the control cavity, you've got the tiny little volume pot. You've got a 16mm push-pull pot for the boost thing. The boost is done by that transformer. More on that in a little bit. It's got a really nice super switch there. More on that later. The wiring overall is pretty good. Kind of important is that the shielding in this guitar is not just for show. A lot of guitars that come in, the shielding is just black or gray paint that doesn't do much at all. This shielding job is quite nice. I'm measuring 18 ohms here, and I have continuity between this cavity and the neck and bridge pickup cavities. I've confirmed that. So that's quite nice. The output jack was a little bit loose, so I opened it up to tighten it up and discovered it was a really, really cheap little thing with flimsy metal, no real strength. Here's a switchcraft for comparison. So I am putting in a switchcraft. It's a whole $2 jack, which will be infinitely better than the stock one. And the stock one fits without any problem at all tightened up and ready to go. Something that not everyone will care about, but it was a question that I had about this guitar when I first saw the reviews, and no one answered it. I wanted to know if there's any routing or anything beneath the pickguard, because I don't much care for the look of the pickguard. That's just purely aesthetic. But if you remove the pickguard, it's good clean wood under there. If the screw holes don't bother you, you can just leave it off. The pickguard is fine. I just don't like the angle it has in contrast to the swoop of the body. Now, one of the big selling points of this guitar is that with a 5-way switch and a push-pull pot, you can get 10 different sounds. And I gotta tell you, after playing this guitar and hearing this guitar, of those 10 possible sounds, 3 of them are good. The others I find very gimmicky, kind of unpleasant. Interesting selling points if you have to talk about the guitar in a guitar store on a Saturday morning. Not really great. Later you'll get to hear them. You can tell me if you agree or not. But let's talk about what the positions are. We're going to start with what we'll call position 1. Yamaha also calls it position 1, so let's call it 1. Position 1 is just the neck. It's the neck pickup. It's a P90. It sounds quite good. Position 2 is the neck pickup blended with a little bit of the bridge pickup. The bridge pickup is going through a capacitor, and so that capacitor both rolls off a little bit of the low end of the bridge pickup in position 2, but also shifts the phase. It's not the full out of phase thing you get with Peter Green, and it's not really the kind of quacky, pleasant out of phase you get with a Strat. It's just a real kind of nasal thing. Some of you will love it, others will dislike it. No player I know who's been over here playing this guitar has enjoyed it. More on that later, but if you like it, you like it. Position 3 is neck plus bridge. The middle position, 2 P90s, middle position sounds great. Position 4 is the full bridge pickup with a little bit of the neck added in through a capacitor. So it rolls off a little bit of the lows and shifts the phase. So both 2 and 4 are just phase shifted positions. They have slightly different honking, unpleasant sounds, but they are there. And position 5 is just a very nice sounding bridge P90. It's not as bright as a lot of Gibsons. You can see the space between the bridge and the bridge P90 is greater than you'd find in a lot of specials or juniors, etc. So, it's a little bit more focused in the mids, a little less bright. It's fine. It sounds good. It's not my favorite bridge P90 sound I've heard, but it's quite good. Here's a look at the control switch wiring. Those are the caps. They're 3.3 nanofarad. It's no big deal. There's the bridge and there's the neck. And then that brings us to the dreaded pull boost option. Now, there are a lot of people out there saying, I don't know what this does, but I love it. Well, I know exactly what it does. It runs the signal from the switch into one side of this transformer, and the other side of the transformer then feeds the volume and tone. And that gives you a gain increase due to the way that transformer is wound. But it is not a gain increase across all frequencies. It dumps a lot of highs, it dumps the ultra lows, and I find it to be very muddy, honky, and nasal and unpleasant. So I am not a fan, but I do know what it does. You'll get to hear it in a moment. So you can tell me if you like it. But you don't have to do any mods to the guitar. You just turn it off and keep it off. Here's Logan Hanna, who's doing the playing test for us. You've been hearing him in the background this whole time. Left to his own devices, he only used positions 1, 3, and 5 because he tried the others. But in just a second, you'll get to hear all the other positions that he tried. As you can hear, there is 60 cycle hum in every position except position 3. The neck and bridge pickup are reverse wound from each other, so in position 3 you get cancellation of all 60 cycle hum. That's just the price you pay for P90s. Overall, I think this guitar is fantastic. I think it's really amazing how much you can get these days. Stainless steel frets, great fret job. The carbon reinforced neck, the bodywork is great. The electronics are passable. The neck pickup in particular is really good. The neck and middle shines. The bridge, it's good. I'm not nuts about it, but it's really good. As for the other positions, I'm sure there was a committee or a focus group or marketing meetings on the subject. I don't think it's necessary. I think this is just a very easily remedied flawed gem. I'm going to show in the second video what I do to this guitar to make it better for the owner. Chris Buck, I guess, is the most well-known user of this model. His custom one just has volume, and a 3-way switch. He doesn't have any of this stuff. And I don't say that I blame him. We're going to do something very simple, and I'll show what that is. And if any of you guys own this guitar and love this guitar, but also don't find the phase stuff or the boost stuff to be that useful, that second video might show you how to make it a more usable guitar, or just don't use those positions, doc. And you may love it as is, and that's absolutely fine. This is all subjective. It is a very good quality instrument, and it's possible to get a lot of good music out of it. For those saying, hey, that was all just a bunch of clean stuff, I don't play like that, or I don't play those styles, that's fine. I personally have played this guitar in the last week through a bunch of different amps. Bogners, Marshalls, higher gain stuff, and basically what you hear there with the clean Deluxe reverb kind of holds true. Positions 1, 3, and 5 really shine, and the others are just marketing gimmicky things. They don't really sound that good, or if there is a purpose to them, it's something that you would not find yourself using very often. Personally, I think any guitar or pedal or effect demo should be done at least through a clean Deluxe reverb as a basis for comparison, as a baseline. And then if you want to do something else, that's great. Anyway, that's all the time I've got today. Hope some of you found this helpful, and thanks for watching.